Hello, good evening, and welcome to the She Talk Show with me, Hadiza Patrick Ottawa. Okay, I don't know why you're going off, but how are you doing today? How is your evening and your weekend coming along? I hope you are planning to have some fun and you're planning to. Okay, go fun and find it. I hope you're planning to have a wonderful evening and rest because we're hustling, we're trying to make a living, and we're forgetting to live while making the living. How are you doing today? I'm glad you joined me. If you're joining for the first time, thank you very much. And if you have been here before, thank you as well for always tuning in and watching. And please feel free to leave a comment, share, like the video for anyone else who would come along to watch it. Thank you very much for joining the She Talk Show with me today. Okay, so today's topic is seeking validation. And I'm going to throw stones everywhere because, to be very honest, it's really difficult for me to do this show without sharing something I'm going through, not going through it, something that is happening around me that I need to address. I need to address, but I'm not addressing the people or person via this medium at the moment. It would only be when they do not do the right thing that I would address them as such. And I don't care at that point in time who will be hurt or whose ox is ground. I really do not care. I would not care at that point in time. So if you know me very well, you know that I honestly will follow you gently. I will follow you. I will look stupid. In fact, if my friends are watching, any of my friends are watching you, they know I'm the kind of person that would follow you as a friend. You say, let's go, I'll get up and go. And I've heard some of them say nasty things behind me, like, I'm not my own person. I don't know, saying no, blah, blah, blah. It's my love language. I love to serve. I love to actually feel like I'm in, I'm useful to a person. That's that's the way I express love basically for me. So um, today's topic is seeking validation, and I'm going to go everywhere. That's see already we've begun that way. So please be patient with me as I go through this. And I'm really trying hard also not to speak about the thing that I really need to address. That some persons have been doing in around me for a bit. So I will try to address the ones that have come to me via other people and hope that I would help someone today, especially a woman in our climate, especially a woman who is right now dealing with finding identity or the person that she's meant to be because she's been buried under this pile of seeking the society, in-laws, people, me, your religion, her validation as to who she is, who she's meant to be, and who she's going to ever be. So, validation is not a bad word. It's just that when it's used in an abusive situation, then it becomes a bad word. So don't get me wrong. That's why we have valid driver's license, valid documents. It just means a good thing. So when we want to say validation, we are trying to say when you approve of someone, when you affirm someone's feelings, when you give credibility to the person, their name, their status, their gender, their belief, their work, their 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 craftsmanship, their education, intellect, is to give authenticity to who they are and where they belong. So you get what I'm going to. So let me tell you some few stories that have birthed this thing. So my niece comes home for a brief holiday at my place, and she's going, and she says she's leaving on a Friday. I think was Saturday early in the morning, and I go like, why? She goes, oh, after a while of pestering and pestering, 'cause I really, I'm like, like I need to know why. It's a boy, what is it? Everyone stay home and eat a bit of food, and then you're trying to run away. and I was supposed to take her somewhere on Saturday with me, and Sunday was supposed to just go hang out. So I was wondering why. And then she goes, "Oh, I joined a church where there are lots of young people like myself, and I'm in the ushering department. But I have a little problem with the person who is head of the department, and I got a little problem. So is that why you can't go? Didn't you tell her you're going to go for a holiday? A week you're going to be gone for like two Sundays." She goes, "No, actually, I think she hates me because every time I seem to not be there or something, she uses me as example in a meeting, and blah, 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 and I'm going, no, 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 no." She goes, "I know, no, auntie, it's okay." I say, "No, no, you cannot go the route we went." And I know I'm speaking to a lot of people where you are serving and you're giving all in your church or fellowship, and you are pulling in your all, and you're really trying hard to just serve God. And then after a while, it's no longer about what you who you are outside of the sphere of that service. Is more about how you serve this leader to be sure that you keep their little demons from showing up and victimizing you particularly. And and I told her, I asked her, I said, "Do you think you're a bit better usher because this person is demanding of you, or because you feel like this is where you've always wanted to be?" Before she went to school, she wanted to be an usher in church, but because we had a distance from home, and dropping her and picking her was going to be really difficult to church, so I begged her. I said, "You know what, when you get to school, I need you to go join ushering," because she was living like in a few months. So I said, "No, do you enjoy being an usher? Do you feel like this is what God has called you to be?" I said, "You have to know that doing this has to solely be because you are doing it for God and because it makes you happy. That person comes, if you, in fact, if the people you are serving and ushering them to their seats are okay, then you're good. It has nothing to do with the leader, because after a while, people who serve under people like that, who are generally doing that, and I've done that, I've served under someone like that, you know and you would lose yourself. Then it becomes more about servitude, and it's more about what you arrive, you go, and I have watched a lot of people run out of steam, and when they leave church, or they stop going to church, then it's hard for them to get back because they've been hurt. Because after a while, it's more about, have I given my leader some gift? Did I come on time? Did I get the approval? Or and then someone else is being picked up because they go to the leader's house and serve outside there, and form a community with the person and give gifts and all that. And so and then the other people are left to work hard to get validation for serving God. Then the rest of people are left to come early, which is a good thing. But when you do it with the consciousness of the fact that I'm serving the greater person, the greater God, personality, it's much more than this noise of my leader likes me, doesn't like me. It's not about that. It's not about you serving and wondering if you are stepping on whose toes or not. It's no longer about that. I'm really trying hard not to stick just on the spiritual because you get me going places. But when my niece said that, I said, "See, you cannot serve God based on people's standard for you, based on what people feel that God is going to rain thunderstorm and lightning on you because you did not come to become an usher for one day, or because you had to go home and be with your family, and so you've left a space, and they're going to preach a sermon about how you are not in that place. If you are not in that place, they put you in a bulb. So for you to be who you are, for you to be the good Christian that you are, for you to be the spiritual person that you are, you have to fit into this ball of approval." I told her, I said, "I made that mistake for years. I wouldn't let you do that. Being saved is a personal decision. souls for his service. And God is not going to throw down anything to hit you because you are not an usher for that time. It's not going to happen. I said to her, she can hate you all she likes. All I know is that when you get to church, get there on time, dress well, greet her. If she says stand by the cars, go and stand by the cars. Any other thing outside of that, that because she does not like you, and so you are not going to spend time with family. Let me tell you guys, I served for years in a place. In fact, at a point, I used to carry instruments from our office to the hotel we used to hold service alone, myself and the driver. Even got injured. When it was time for award, for them to give award, everybody said, calling my name, calling my name. It was giving somebody else. When the leader was asked, because at that point in time, she felt she had a misunderstanding with me. She told someone else, she doesn't think I need the money. It wasn't about that. And there I was standing and waiting to be validated by her. And see, I've been there. That's why I can explain it. You would be standing right there where they left you. Where you, when I was doing all that, carrying instrument and all. Honestly, I wasn't thinking of the award because the award wasn't instituted at that for that point. I was just doing because whether she was not around or she was sick, there was one time she was suspended, and there was nobody else. Everybody else was doing that. I had the time. So I was carrying. So when the award came up, of course, you know you've done your due diligence. And here you were when once the award was over, I was like, we know you're taking the award. It's like let's be honest. Let's be honest. Especially as women, we find ourselves even in church. A lot of the women who serve in church, especially those who you find in and married women who are in and out and in and out, apart from those who their husbands are there, especially those whose husbands say you obey your pastor more, you do this more, is because they're standing in a place and waiting to be validated and hoping that in this place, in this particular place, that man of God's approval will mean God's approval. It would never mean that. And that's why we keep going around some prayer points. I'm trying, God, not to make this so spiritual because I have other things I need to talk about. But let's start with the spiritual. I may come back around and talk about it. We're seeking validation. We're seeking the approval of people. Jane Watson, thank you. Anto, thank you very much for joining tonight. We're seeking, as women, we're seeking for people to say she's a good wife. She's okay. So the second story, I'm reading this story about this girl who has been beaten by her husband for the past 15 years that she's married. 15 years, 15 years, people, 15 years. And so her siblings who are abroad now say, please help us. We need to get this guy arrested. Whether he's a lawyer, blah, blah. And I'm like, 15 years. I'm not worried about whether he's a lawyer. No, 15 years. 15 years. Like, why have 15 years? And then someone in the comment section says, oh, she's the daughter of a very popular pastor in the East. And she's always been so beautiful and quiet and reserved. And once she married him, he put her under that thing of, and so of course my question was, so I was looking for information everywhere. So my question was, why are siblings abroad and they've left her with this monster for 15 years, is beating her? He actually hit her, gashed her head, and all that. Blood, like everywhere. Thank God she's not dead. 15 years. What was she waiting for? For rapture? What was she waiting for? For him to wake up one day and say, hey, after all your prayers, I realized that I've seen the light. And now I'm a bad person. You're a good wife. She's waiting for society to say, oh, you endured. And after your endurance, you are truly, truly a true wife. But one thing I noticed in the comments where someone made there is the fact that she's a popular pastor's wife, a daughter. And so this rope has been put on her neck for a very long time of pastors' children need to behave well. You people have it, care group leaders, child has to behave well. Cell group member, child has to behave well. Imam's child has to behave well. And so there is this thing we have put on our children's neck of you have to behave well. That even when they are being abused, there's a need for them to stay put until it's been validated. Yes, she's a good pastor's child. Yes, she's a good Christian. Yes, she's a praying woman. Yes, 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 yes. Why? Why do we do that? Why do we stay in the place of abuse to be validated? I'm going to get to mentors, but let me go on with this marriage thing. So I just can't wrap my head around it. She's waiting for people to say she's been the good wife, she's been the good mother, she's been the long suffering person, and staying in the place where he the description of her before and her picture, if you saw it, she looked like a slave who just came out of a dungeon. Go and check Instablog. She looks like a slave who just came out of something, not like the child of a popular pastor who has finances, who is buoyant. All her siblings are abroad, and so of course that means that she does not lack. But she's already been put under the pressure of being validated by everybody else that she's only going to be enough if she stays and suffer enough, if she stays and take the abuse enough, if she stays and become the wife enough, if she stays and become the mother wife, the mother enough, she's only going to be there so that everyone else will take her and say, yes, we approve of you. You are our Ada. That's the way Ada behaves. You are the firstborn. That's the way firstborns behave. How girl child. That's why we have girl children. They're the ones that stay in the hospital. They're the ones who take them. They're the ones who because we're seeking to be told that we are enough. As women, we take all that. I started to talk with women the past 1 year since, well, not 1 year, well, past 1 year, talking about menopause. I've had to interact with lots of women who are in their 50s and so on and so forth. And hearing women saying they wish they had more time for themselves. They wish when they were younger, when they could move around, when they could do this, when they could do that, they had actually taken out the time to do these things without having to feel like the children were going to fall into a hole and disappear, or society was going to judge them for having a little bit of fun because they are wives, because they are mothers. And so we get older, and then they buy us tickets. We are going to go do omugwo. We are holding stick. And then everybody thinks, she's enjoying now. No, I remember years ago, I was very ill. I was baking, like seriously baking, and I was um home. I was very ill, and this friend of mine turned up to visit me. Now, this lady is so psychedelic, is the word I can use. Very psychedelic lady and proper. So you go to her house, nothing is out of place. And in the light of my having a neat home, my I'm dim in comparison to her light, So saying that she was really, really, and she had 2 kids, she was a single mom, 2 kids, no help, and everyone was clean. So she came and she met me cleaning. The kids had gone to school. My help was upstairs, so I was cleaning. Like just we had made cake like the night before. I was ill, and the bakers had gone home. I had gone to do delivery, and some had gone home. So I was cleaning, trying to tidy up like my sitting area. I was just trying to tidy up, and she came to my house and she said she saw me. I was shaking and I was trying to just clean up. And when she knocked, I was like, "Who?" I went to see her. She was like, "What are you doing down here?" I said, "Well, I'm trying to just tidy up the downstairs." She says, "Why?" I said, "Well, the place is looking untidy." And I started to explain myself. And she said, "I don't understand. Who is coming to give you a trophy? Who is going to come and give you a prize?" I said, "You can say that because your house is always neat." She said, "My dear, let me tell you, it's what you've seen here, there in my house. You see that downstairs you've been to? We don't stay there, me and my kids. When we come, everybody finds their way upstairs. I cook in the morning and I clean up. I cook plus dinner. When we come, I microwave it. I serve everybody on a plate. We sit on dining, we eat, we clean that particular place. We go right upstairs. Nobody stays downstairs. So you're only judging what you're seeing because I can't keep cleaning. Someone comes once a week and cleans that downstairs you're seeing, and we keep it like that. I started to laugh. She said, "No, forget it. Nobody's coming to give you a trophy." She said, "You need to give yourself rest." And so this is where we are as women, we are waiting for a trophy, waiting for this big approval, waiting for this sense of belonging to be given to us because we're doing these things for society to approve of us. This lady has been sitting down there, probably educated. I'm sure she's educated, with this man who has decided to. I'm trying not to touch on the perpetrators of this abuse yet. It's going to be like the last thing we talk about. But I'm talking to us as women, and in the sphere of our influence where we find ourselves, whether you're in an office setting, whether you are in in a home setting with the in-laws, you are trying hard to make sure that they approve of you. You before you get married, after you get married, consistently they walk into your life, trample on you, walk all over your emotions, and walk out and just have a field day. And you are still waiting for them to accept you as one of the families, as one of the member of their family. You're still waiting for them to say to you, oh, well done, you finally done it. You are waiting in one place, waiting for your feelings to be affirmed, for your feeling abandoned or neglected or used, for someone to come and say you've done well. It's not going to work. No, it's not going to work. You have to know that the approval comes from you. The approval comes from you. The society is never going to sit at a table and hold an award ceremony for you to be validated as the best wife, as the best caregiver, as the best child, as the best mother, as the best in-law, as the best worker. On few occasions are you going to receive that best worker gratitude or approval. But if you don't receive it, how much of you are you going to lose while trying to gain the approval of this person? How many people are you waiting for them to lift up their heads and say, oh, you are truly a woman of God, you are truly this. A lot of women haven't started their ministries. A lot of women haven't started their NGOs. A lot of women haven't started their companies because they are waiting for validation. They're waiting for people to say, yes, you are worthy. Yes, it's about time. Yes, it's this. Yes, of course, you deserve it. No, nobody's going to give you that hand of deserving or validate the fact that you are strong enough to run that NGO or that ministry or that company or whatever brand it is that you want to do. Nobody is going to give you that validation. Everybody is selfish about it because they are hoping to God that you don't put your leg into this race and you win. And even if they're not wishing so, they know that once you get more powerful, more empowered, you are no longer going to see them as the almighty, all powerful persons that they have become in your life. The larger than life person you've been waiting for their approval. They can see in our eyes, they're waiting for them to say, well done. They're waiting to say, thank you, or you've done well, or here's your prize. They can see it. I have been there. And the moment you take a step and you want to leave, it's problem. The moment you want to grow your wings, problem. So let me get to mentors. So you have mentors, parents, not biological parents necessarily, but people who you look at as parents, either spiritual parents or societal parents, and you go to them to show what you're about to do, what you need to do, or they can see that you're really trying hard. Why is this AC not calling me? Uh, to be in that place, where they can say, oh, well done, or you've done well. They can see you're struggling. They can see you are coming to them to say, I have this plan, and then they go like, have you thought that? I think your strength is not there. And you feel it in you that this is your strength, but I tell you, your strength is not there. Every time someone comes and says, oh, I want to veer off this, I'm thinking of going this way, it's not yet time, it's not yet time. You've done it's not yet time for years. You've listened to that, it's not yet time. You've gone to them we have this society of you go to say, see, I'm about to start this project, I'm about to start this, I just came to show you. And then they go like, no, no, I don't think it's time. I don't think it's this, because it's their timing. It's not your time, especially as women. Once you want to start something, you go to some mentors, and I'm not referencing every mentor, because I'm a mentor to people, and I'm sure they are watching. They know, my mentees know me. You say you want to do this, I don't even look twice and say no. I'm going to say yes, we're going to go ahead with it, because I just believe life is an adventure. I waited years, I wasted years waiting for mentors to say, yeah, good, let's go ahead. How can I help? What can be done? To just feel like someone is coming along with me as a woman. And so I'm not going to do that to any of my mentees. Whether I feel like the Nigerian weather or the currency, whatever, is looking like this or like that, based on the information or fact that the person believes they want to start a project, I'm going to be right there. I may caution if I feel like it's so strong, it's really strong. But if I don't feel a caution in my heart, I do not have all the information concerning the trade in Nigeria or whatever this person is doing, and I'm going to educate myself the best that I can. But as far as this person believes, I am going to stand right there and say, go ahead. Let's start the little, let's start. I may not say go ahead and put, but I always say let's start now, let's start now, let's start now. Because the now is the time that we have, is the promise that we have, is the now. The now is then what we have, and that's it. And so you have mentees who are waiting for you to make a mistake, and so say, I knew it, I knew it. And we do have them, unfortunately. And I'm going to reference spiritual leaders where you are hoping, you go and say, I feel in my spirit this is not going to work. I feel in my spirit. One of the things that freed me the past few years is knowing the fact that there isn't a bigger spirit in a bigger name pastor than it is inside of me. The same spirit lives in all of us. Is a degree of faith. Is how big a person's faith is. Though he says even if it was as tiny as a mustard seed, it is still active. So if mine is as tiny and the big name is theirs is as big as a rock, it still has the same efficacy to turn around things. So if you are stuck as a woman in a place of I feel, somebody says I feel, they're working on their feelings, and you know what has been deposited inside of you. You know what your dreams and aspirations are, and you need to go get it. So someone came to ask me about a situation where she and her husband were supposed to start a business. Particularly, she had the idea and she had worked on it. She had done her market visibility study. She's done what's that thing? Anyway, she's done all the paperwork of checking to see is the atmosphere ready, is everything ready, and she goes to meet this mentor of theirs, and she goes, particularly of hers, and says, this is what I want to do, this is what I want to do. This is 3 years ago or so. And this person says, I just feel the time is on. I just feel, I just feel, and she let's private, this year, that person's child is doing same business as this person. All this while she was waiting. And because not to seem like the one who goes against the almighty seer and whatever mentor, because that person also is in this coaching atmosphere and also coaches and all that. So it seemed like it's a double cap the person is wearing. And so the approval was really, really important to this person. And she comes and she's crying. I told her, I said, I've been there. I have been there. Where you take a business idea and or an idea you like, you want to go to school and thinking, ma, I want to go to school, or sir, I want to go to school, this thing, they go like, how will you pay? How will you do this? Ah, no, 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 no. Think, calm down, calm down. You know, you have to look at future tense, how you're going to do this. And the same amount of faith is all we need to take step out and do whatever we need to do. But as women particularly, we are being told these kinds of things because it seems like we're easier to manipulate, to stay in a place of submission, of continual um, um, waiting. There's a word I'm looking for. It's like you are in a place of waiting for that person to lift up their eyes and see you and say, yes, it's time for you to go. It's time for you to do. It's time for you to do. My sister was talking to me the other day and she was like, oh, I need to go here, but I need to go to this place and then there's this place. If I don't go to this place, this person will be upset that I didn't come and see them. And if I don't go here and yet I need to go and see my daughter, and I said, do you go see your daughter? Priority first. Go and see. These people are never going to approve of you, whether you go there or not. So go see your daughter, finish that, satisfy you. This is not a selfish statement of of disregarding elders or doing the right thing. It's the fact that she was more worried about what they were going to say if she didn't turn up for something that really, it's not like, it's actually like a condolence visit. You do you understand? And I said to her, go finish. You can visit them and pay your condolences any other time. It never runs out. My mother died 5 years or 10 years after she died. People were coming to say, people would reach out and say, oh, I just wanted to greet you concern your mom. So I told her, I said, go do you come back, go another day and visit, but you can't put yourself, because she was like, oh, she was really panicking. I said, do you? I told her, I said, we've passed that place where we were waiting, and then we'll leave things that we know that would give us our own pleasure. At least you will see your daughter you haven't seen a bit. She's in university and you haven't seen her in a while. They've always been the two of them together. And here she was worried about that post validation, about whether she was going to be a good cousin or good days for going to their place. Just to use that as an example. And because these people also hold some sort of spiritual, you know, hold over her. And I said, go and visit, go and finish what you need to do. What will give you joy, will make you go to bed and you're like, oh, my kid is fine. You've made a promise to this child, go do it. Then on your way back, if you have the time, do it. If not, if I should, okay, so the thing was, the condition was her car. I said, fix your car. That's what you're going to use to go and visit people, isn't it? So we are left as women to stand. The village people are waiting for us to prove that we are our father's daughters. They're waiting to see if we are going to build a house like Clara built for her father and her mother. You're waiting to see if you're going to have the wedding like your cousin or your brother had that kind of wedding. You're waiting. We are waiting for people to say, "Oh, you did well by being the one who went abroad or who married a certain kind of pedigree of persons." We are waiting for validation. We're waiting for people to say, oh, you have been on social media long enough to write a book. Oh, you know that people are writing books right, left, and center. Oh, what? If you don't do this, you are not this. If you're not this, you're not a coach enough. If you're not this, you're not this enough. You're not. No, you are enough. You are enough. Because you see, these people who are the ones who we are waiting for their approval are moving on with their lives. Look around them. They are moving on with their lives. They are progressing in their lives. They're taking decisions per day. They actually come back to us and say, oh, I made a mistake. I was supposed to do this, but I've changed my mind, I'm going to do this. And we applaud them for their ability to come back and apologize and take another route. But we are not allowed to do that. For you are not allowed to say, oh, I made a mistake marrying this person. It was a huge oversight. I saw the red flags. I shouldn't have gone into it. I want to leave. You're going to seem like that female who is not satisfied with the status quo, staying with this kind of persons and taking whatever they're going to dish to you. and you are getting out of it. It's going to look like you're that person who does not want to play ball in the office, who does not want to make sure that after all, other women are here, after all, other people are here. Are you the only woman in here? Once they mention, are you the only woman, you know already you have been judged. To be very honest, if as a woman you feel like you are waiting in one place for you to be told you are the good mother, you are the good wife, you are the good daughter, you are the good servant or church server or whatever, you're in the wrong place. You may stay in that same place, but you need to find something that every day you wake up and say you did well. You should wake up and say you did well. You went well. You studied well. Ah, you really did well starting that business. Approve of yourself. Approve of yourself. I'm no longer in a hurry to catch up. I'm taking my steps to be where I would be. I'm taking my steps to make sure that every day I say to myself, I worked at this thing and I did it well and I did it diligently and I did give it my best. I did well. I'm no longer waiting for the approval of people. I'm no longer waiting for the approval because you see, these people that we've been waiting for their approval, they're moving on. And they're always very angry when you want to move on. Yes. They're very upset that you want to move on. See, in my throwing of stones up and down, I hope that I'm speaking to someone and someone is getting some sort of help in knowing that while standing in that one place, you're feeling like life is just passing, it's passing, it's passing, that you do have an option. Look closely, you have an option. Look closely, you do have an option. You have the option to step out of that ring and do something different and be somebody different. Right now, truly, I know that there's a woman that's feeling like I have little children in my 40s or in my 30s, and I really can't leave these people, they're helpless. Even in that place where you find yourself going round and round and feeling like this is not where I'm meant to be, please look a little closer and see. Are you standing there because you want us to approve of you? For us to say, yeah, the ideal pastor's wife, the ideal organ's wife, the ideal senior sister, the ideal whatever it is that you're seeking for validation. Are you trying to be the ideal Christian? There's no ideal. Approve of yourself. Approve of yourself. Check and see. Do you do right? When I'm sending my kids to school, I always tell them, always check your heart when you're dealing with people. Make sure you're doing right by them. In order to understand what it means is that make sure that you treat them right. Make sure you do what you need to do. And that's it. You may not, it may not occur to you today, but when it does, and you remember this, please wake up and realize that you can start today to just affirm yourself and your feelings. Oh yeah, I ought to get angry. I should. that, there's so many things. So years ago, I was upset about something, and I said, I told someone, I said, see, I'm not happy about this thing, and it just doesn't sit well with me. So I'm not going to be in this place. I'm taking off, and I left. Person was like, no, don't go. Let me tell you, just enjoy people. He said, I told her, no, no, no. I've been in this kind of circle before, and I've told myself, anytime I see this occurring again, well, I go. I don't have time for nonsense anymore. And that's me. I'm a no-nonsense person, but I usually give people a long rope, knowing that I have the tendency to be extremely firm. about what I believe in, So I told her, no, 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 no. I said, well, no, please, please, let me focus on something else. Okay, my kids are about to do SSC. Let me focus on, let me focus on my business or something. She goes, no, it's the right thing. It's bringing righteousness. Da, 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 da. I don't want to do so it should look like I'm attacking church. uh, 3, 4 years come. She comes to my house. She comes to drop kids, her kids for play dates. And she goes like, this, I want to see you. So we go outside. She goes like, she starts to complain. And I'm looking at her. She's doing the same thing. Honestly, when she started to talk, I was like, if this woman can complain, no, anybody should complain about that place. Because for the life of me, when I left, I was looked as the rebellious person. Oh, can't take it. Oh, do you understand? So when she started, honestly, I was too baffled. Advice wasn't flowing in my head. I was just looking at her like, oh, I thought I was the only person. She goes like, they select people who they want to do. I thought this was the house of God. I go to, I said, sis, you see, I chose to approve of myself. God is not waiting with a hammer to sledge harm me and to make me sit up and to whatever, as they want to make me to believe. He loves me indefinitely, unquestionably. He approves of me. That's all. I wake up, we speak every day. I try to obey the best that I can. In fact, I hear him tell me things and that I've never heard before. So I think that you should ask him if it's time for you to sleep, because telling you my point of view, you may not understand it. So she goes back home and she talks to her husband and he goes, no, we stay here. We stay till we die. No, that's my words. Yeah, we stay here. No, so they won't say, so they won't say. And she's still there. She's like angry. She's very bitter. So why would I want to serve God bitter and upset because I want to be validated by someone? Why? Why would I want to do that to myself? Why would you want to stay in the family, especially the in-laws, within their? I have this family friend. The husband makes sure if they come into town, they stay far away from in a hotel. He goes visit them. As long as they're going to cause problems that will last for months in his house, stay away until you guys get your things together. Those kind of men. But there are some that still will introduce these abusive people into their family because wahala, and then you are sorting yourself out. You know, if you are going to stay in a place, in an office, in an association where you daily have to wait to feel like you are being approved, you're doing well. Okay, let me do this. They approve of me. Let me do that. They approve of me. Let me do this. Approve of me. Sorry, it's not going to work. In fact, I told you guys, serving is my love language, to serve people. It's come to a point where even now, when I'm once people are like, why am I doing this? Why am I doing it? As much as it gives me joy, because I know that I had been in that place where I did it to the point where I I was waiting to be told you did well. I don't want to wait. I want to be sure that when I do it, I did it because I wanted to, and it gives me joy. Purely, I would go like, yeah, I feel like cooking for them. It's nice. I go, yeah, and I'm cooking. I'm joyful. And when I drop the food, I don't even think about it. So I want to ask you, who are you waiting to validate you? Why are you waiting for their validation when, as a person, you can prove yourself and move on? If Zuckerberg had waited for the twins to validate his being who he is, we wouldn't have heard about him. If a lot of people who got up to become, and the names that we call all over the place, waited for the right moment and the right people to say they are okay, they are worthy, they wouldn't be there. I would one day share my story because it hasn't been done yet, but I will share it. I promised myself I'm going to talk about it, and I'm going to talk about it everywhere, But I just want to know: do you feel that you are in that place? You're crying about it. You feel like you are wrong for thinking like that. I want you to know that you're not wrong. Find you and do you. I'd like to thank you all for watching. For those of you who have been watching, thank you, Jane Watson and Antoinette. Thank you very much, and everyone else who's been watching. Thank you very much. This is She Talk. Today, I really didn't have. I don't have a script to it. I just thought I was just going to come and vent and talk about these things that have bothered me for a bit, and something just going on, and I know that this I'm not waiting for validation by these people, but they feel like I am. And so their action is trying to produce that kind of thing. And I'm saying no. I'm just waiting to have the final conversation. I'm giving them an opportunity to have a conversation with me. If they don't, give or take a month, it's been 2 months now, there about 1 more month, I I will talk about it. I will talk about it and I will clean up. I don't care how many years we spend together and who is going to be hurt. I'm going to call names and I will do it. Thank you very much for watching. Have a lovely evening and a lovely weekend. Bye.